So we have some news to go over regarding Jon Runyan Jr. It just came out from Matt Schneidman, who said this: Packers starting right guard Jon Runyan Jr. is set to be a unrestricted free agent and switched his agent to Drew Rosenhaus. Per source, Rosenhaus met with Packers brass in Indianapolis, and there is mutual interest in Runyan remaining a Packer. Would have to be right price for both sides, of course. So Jon Runyan Jr. is expected to become a free agent unless the Packers decide to bring him back. And I'd been thinking, because Sean Rhyan had been, subbing in with Runyan at right guard for a majority, at least the later half of the season, it sort of looked like to me that their plan was to move on to Rhyan, who's going to be much cheaper considering he is still on rookie contract. Rhyan maybe wasn't that much worse, was similar to Runyan in his time at guard this year. It sort of makes more sense to stick with Rhyan, in my opinion. The only reason I think the Packers and Runyan could want to bring him back is there isn't a ton of depth at guard on this offensive line. Looking right now, you got Elton Jenkins, of course, left guard, and you got Royce Newman, another guard, who has not been very good. And so they're pretty thin with guard, and so maybe the Packers see that and say, even though they're probably planning to potentially draft some offensive linemen, I would expect this upcoming draft, maybe they think that their depth isn't strong enough to let Jon Runyan go, even though they do have Sean Rhyan. Because let's say, Elton Jenkins got injured next year, which hopefully doesn't happen, but you never know with injuries on the line. And if you have one injury and your line is, pretty thin at depth, maybe bringing Runyan back on a $5 million a year deal makes some kind of sense. And if we look at Jon Runyan in his time here, since he was drafted by the Packers back in 2020, round 6, he's been okay. He hasn't been great. And last year, PFF had him as the 47th best guard out of 79 guards per their PFF grade. So he's not one of the worst, but he's still, I'd say, a mid-tier average guard in the NFL. And Packers may decide that they need him back because of their depth issues. The question is, what are the Packers looking for? How much is Runyan looking for? And are they going to be able to come to some kind of agreement? I honestly am not super opinionated about Runyan coming back or leaving. Do I think he needs to come back? No, not necessarily. There is no doubt that the Packers do need to add depth at offensive line, and maybe they think Runyan, he knows the system. He knows, he's been around Matt LaFleur, this Packers offense, the past 4 seasons. So maybe they think bringing him back in is better than spending elsewhere or trusting that you're going to be able to find a guard sometime in this draft. So we'll see what happens here, but that is the most recent Packers news. If you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, make sure you turn on the post notifications. That way, anytime Packers news comes out, you'll get notified on your phone right away. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.